I'm Stephanie Bendixsen and welcome to Move. This episode, we're moving stuff. Packages, parcels, goods, double shots, soy macchiatos as we take a look at the future of delivery. Isn't it annoying when you've got to stay at home between 8 and 11 a.m. just to sign for a package? Still, imagine how someone in the 1860s felt when deliveries took an average of about 24 days. And if you were in the Wild West, you'd be lucky if they got it to you alive. In fact, throughout history, it was innovations in transport technology that really revolutionized local economies and trade. That and manners. From pigeons to Wells Fargo wagons and steamboats to express trains, trucks and airmail, each transport revolution made deliveries faster, cheaper and more reliable. Consumers were always the beneficiaries and they loved it. When postal services were introduced in the US in the early 1900s, it was so cheap that at one point college students mailed their dirty laundry home. One person even mailed a child. That's illegal now, by the way, so don't get any ideas. Today, the 21st century wonder of click now, get real soon involves an incredible maze of logistics, made even more amazing by the fact that it's powering itself with the magic of AI, making delivery even faster and smarter. It's not next day or same day, it's now. But is the cliche right to say convenience comes at a cost? For instance, will fast delivery mean more consumption and therefore more waste? So do people really want faster delivery if it means creating more problems? We asked the public if there is such a thing as too fast.
I guess when I order stuff online, I expect it to be there in a couple of days.
As soon as possible, if it can.
It should not take more than a week.
3 days. That would be ideal. Maybe the next day would be good.
A day.
And we are thrilled to be joined by two guests who are 2 steps ahead in the logistics business, reimagining the idea of delivery and the customer experience while trying to use innovation to decrease their environmental footprint. Please welcome the Chief Marketing Officer of door-to-door parcel delivery company Sendle, Eva Ross. And the Managing Director of Logistics Optimization company Premonition, Brad Lorge. So Eva and Brad, what are some of the big problems around delivery and how technology and innovation can help solve them?
Where do we start?
It's a huge question. When you look at the part that logistics plays in the economy, I mean, it's 10% of GDP and it powers so much of the business-to-business work that's done in Australia, manufacturing, industrial. So any little problem that you can solve in logistics has a huge impact to people's lives.
And Eva, what makes a great modern delivery service and how have you managed to make Sendle cost-effective, scalable and sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a challenge. I think the first thing we did was we went and had a look at all of the pain points that are involved in parcel delivery. And we also had a look at Australia Post to see what they weren't doing quite so well that we might be able to help with. And one of the big things I think you mentioned earlier was the fact that people don't have time to go and wait in queues at the post office. They'd much rather have that door-to-door element, which I think we've solved quite well through pickups. We've also had a look at all of the expenses involved and tried to cut down those costs really through partnering with an incredible network around the country.
And Brad, shopping online means that we can browse easily, compare conveniently and buy from anywhere in the world. The one thing that we can't do compared to bricks and mortar shopping is have it in our hands immediately. Can AI and automation bring us closer to that kind of seamless shopping experience, do you think?
Premonition has been working on a few projects in the Australian market where we've actually predicted what is going to be sold where. How many iPhones are going to sell in this particular postcode? And we've predictively shipped those items into the area. We can actually do that across the country without warehousing infrastructure. So really it's turning a very low-cost traditional distribution model into something that can do 1 hour, 2 hour delivery on the goods consumers want most.
I mean, what is the role of humans in a future of delivery?
I would say you'd be surprised how many processes are still very manual. And that's also why we have so many problems in the system, right? So slowly, if we can look at process automation, a lot of those things will start to be cleared up.
And I think one of the most important roles that automation has to play in the short term is making sure that every person in that process is safe and that we can still have an excellent consumer delivery experience with every driver, everyone working in a warehouse, every truckie completely safe at their job.
I'm super excited about the idea of drone delivery. What ways is there in the future for drone delivery to, I suppose, improve the lives of people in rural communities?
I think we're both very excited about drones.
Yeah, for sure.
And probably from slightly different angles, drones will always be part of a wider network. They have a specific part to play and they play it really well. And for the first time in history, not only is drone delivery technically feasible, but it's becoming economically feasible. So we're going to see it more and more, and particularly in medical deliveries, regional deliveries, and for deliveries that have a local-to-local element. There are very real projects coming live right now that are making that a reality.
Yeah, there's some incredible things going on in Rwanda in terms of blood banks being able to deliver to remote communities very, very quickly and have that all piloted by drone. But the reality is really the item needs to be quite small and probably quite expensive for it to make sense. Drones are very inefficient in terms of energy use, and I think we have to think about that carefully as we look into them in the future.
And what about moving more into cities? Will drones be able to reduce congestion there, or are we going to run into problems with the sky being just filled with drones and
mid-air collisions? Yeah. Look, I think there's a range of technologies that are changing congestion in city. There's, AI technology routing existing vehicles more effectively has already been shown to reduce congestion by up to 10–15%. Drones will just add to that. And what's more is they'll enable new products and more effective ways for people in cities to work with each other.
Now, I think we've all felt the frustration of packages being delivered when we're not home, or maybe someone's come and stolen it, or it's been rained on. So how can technology help deal with problems like that?
I think there's a lot of things to be done ahead of time. One of the biggest things we find is a lot of the information that's given early on is incorrect. So designing for a lot of those corrections and having learnt from past experience, we can ensure all the forms are filled out correctly, all of the delivery information is correct. That's kind of the first step. I think from there, having some of the spaces available and having the right space for that delivery is really important as well.
Premonition's developed an anti-carding AI system, which we've deployed in market with a few carriers, which uses predictive technology to try and maximize the chance that a delivery is going to be successful and somebody's going to be home when the driver comes through. And so far, we've seen some small changes. We've seen about a 5% reduction in missed deliveries, but we think once we're fully up to speed and we have all the data, that we can make a huge impact on that problem that everyone faces.
And looking further into the future, will AI be able to become super responsive to our customer demands, to the point where it knows what we want and can ship it to us before we even think that we need it based on our shopping history? Or I know we've got things with like smart fridges that can tell when we've run out of milk, and there's already printers that ship ink to us when we're low, but is kind of moving a bit further into the future with that a little bit creepy?
I think it could be super useful. I know my milk in the fridge is never full, so I wouldn't mind it. It's interesting when you look at companies in China like JD. So recently was Singles Day, and they've developed the idea that if you go to a site and you click on an item, 10% of the time, 2.7 days later, you're going to want that item. So what they've done technology-wise is bring those sorts of items into the city so they can have them delivered more quickly.
I think predictive technologies let small companies compete in ways they haven't been able to before. We've worked with a company that was operating out of Perth, which normally had a 7-day lead time to the eastern side of the country. And using predictive technologies, we can help them make sure they can access the major markets within 24 hours. So that's very positive. There's a negative side as well for consumers. When you start to see retailers pushing items, they're really starting to lock consumers in. Instead of, as a consumer, finding the retailer that makes sense for you and you pulling the product, suddenly you're having to push things away. And what we want to see is a market that's diverse, that has thousands of retailers using both the internet and transport networks to reach their customers. We'd hate to see a world where customers effectively only have one channel to get goods online, and so that's what we're looking at as well in the market.
I think it's interesting you mentioned how good it is for small businesses and for them to be able to compete on that sort of level playing field. That's going to be a wonderful result of it.
Well, we decided to explore the evolution of the online product journey, starting with CEO of ShowPo, Jane Liu, who is at the helm of an online fashion empire shipping to over 80 countries. Let's take a look with our resident reporter, Sara Isakka.
When ordering a package online, ever wondered what the logistics are behind it getting from the warehouse to your front door? Well, we're here at ShowPo to find out how they deal with their transport, shipping and deliveries.
So here at ShowPo, we're an online fashion store, but I think we're so much more than that. We have a strong brand, we design a lot of our own products, and we have a huge team that's working every day on making the customer experience better. Our customers are generally women, 16 to 40, and they're from all over the world. Over the last 8 years, we've serviced millions of customers in over 100 countries, and we're only getting bigger. Our customers want a variation of product that's good quality and at a good price. They also want great customer service, which means fast and reliable shipping.
For most online entrepreneurs like Jane, delivering that last part of the customer experience really matters. In the transport world, it's called last mile freight. And throughout history, it's been one of the hardest problems to solve.
We want to make our customers happy, and they hold us accountable for their entire shopping experience from start to finish. But once an order leaves our warehouse, it becomes a bit harder for us to control.
Currently, in most places, last mile freight is made up of a multitude of different companies, all of whom are out on the roads, which has its challenges.
We work with 7 different couriers, so our job is to make them accountable for a quality service. So when a customer asks, "Where's my order?" we have to communicate into one tracking portal, and so there's a lot of moving parts to make things run smoothly.
Despite the challenges, this also creates opportunities for innovation, particularly for global businesses.
About 40% of our sales are international, with a third coming from the US. So speed of delivery is really important. So we're competing on a global scale, and we ship all over the world. In Sydney, we offer same-day shipping. Australia-wide, we can offer next-day shipping in metro areas. And internationally, we're working on getting that shipping time to be as fast as possible.
Patrick Stevedore, located at Port Botany in Sydney, is a world-class automated terminal. The technology they've implemented is speeding up the ship-to-shore movement of sea freight containers, which means getting goods on the road much faster. For global entrepreneurs like Jane, even automation at the ports can make a huge difference to the cost of her goods, the delivery time, and ultimately the experience of her brand to her end customers.
Obviously, we want our shipping and delivery to be as fast and smooth as possible. If we can guarantee that, that's key to growing our customer base and our business.
As you may have gathered, the fact that a package even gets to you is a logistical miracle. In the future, we may not be getting packages just from the mail, but from the sky. For regional online owners and shoppers with mobility issues, this could offer a whole new world of opportunity.
So looking into the future, what are the opportunities for tech innovators and startups to develop more sustainable delivery services? Will we eventually just 3D print everything? Or is it teleportation?
I mean, from
pretty
Sendle,
scary, but exciting.
From Sendle's perspective, we do all of our delivery 100% carbon neutrally. So I think we've been to the sun 11 times and back. And every step of that has been carbon neutral. So that's certainly been our commitment from the beginning.
Amazing.
I think it's interesting how many ancillary services pop up with new technology, and I'm really keen to see what comes out of it.
What we've certainly seen from 3D printing now is that rather than changing how consumers get their goods, it's actually really shifted where producers of goods are. A lot of people who have 3D printers today are actually using it to make and sell things online. That's a really exciting challenge for a transport network. Instead of just coming from a centralized industrial region that's producing everything and trying to fan it out to the country. Well, we're now looking at more of a peer-to-peer style manufacturing distribution network, and certainly 3D printing in many ways will change how we think about logistics.
Well, what is clear is that humans will always find innovative ways to move things, no matter the service. Mailing a child, though, what were they thinking? That's all the time we have, though. So thank you so much to Eva and Brad, and thank you so much to you for watching. I'm Stephanie Bendixsen, and we'll be back with the next episode. Until then, keep on moving.